Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the SBP. We are back like we normally are between 11 and 11:30, or whenever we get here. We here. You know how black folks do. But as always, I'm your boy Prime Source. What is good?
What up, Prime? Another week, playoff time. Things are popping. Big things popping.
Well, it's playoff time for one of us in here.
Yeah, right. Playoff time is a goal that we haven't hit in many of these teams.
I just meant in general, guys.
Sure
Don't take
you
it personal.
And we welcome back Didge, man. Didge was good.
Oh, I'm doing good. Woke up, saw my team got a new head coach. So I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point. I got
Shocker.
thoughts.
Shocker.
You know that is a definite. And we welcome back Joel. Joel, what's good, brother?
Hey, how y'all doing? I'm here.
What's going on? I mean, how's it been? How things going?
It's been a long season. It's almost over though.
It's all good, man. Welcome back, man. At the right time, like I was telling Didge last week. So we going full steam from here all the way up to the Super Bowl. So I'm not even gonna ask you guys. I'm gonna send the link. I'm gonna let you guys know during the week, what we're talking about into addition to the playoffs, and if you can make it on, jump on. So that's what we got going on, here up through the Super Bowl. So then, of course, we are going to have a end of the year. We're gonna wrap up the season sometime after the Super Bowl, maybe the week after the Super Bowl, or maybe in between. I don't know. Source and I will talk to see what the schedule's looking like.
Hey, Prime, I gotta ask Joel a question real quick.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with the Giants or the Knicks.
Good start.
Do you own a shirt with sleeves?
Oh. I do.
I've never seen that. I'm just curious.
You might say it might just been one. He might got one or two, right?
It's the work shirt.
They're out there. It's out there. Look, see behind me, you can see some shirts, but
those are all for work. That's when he goes.
Sometimes I'll
into
show up in a
office.
hoodie if it's cold, but it's rare.
Hey, when you're at the crib, you got to be comfortable.
Chilling.
What you do. Nothing wrong with that.
It's my look now. Everywhere I pod, I usually do it without a shirt on. So it's kind of like it's my thing.
Hey, this kind of off topic, but I'm gonna ask because I don't. Did you on TikTok, right?
Yeah.
What about you, Joel? You on TikTok?
I'm on it, but I'm not on it.
But the most active member, of course, is Source. I get on there when I feel like it, and then I decide I don't want to, deal with people.
Yeah, that's me too.
And I might just thumb through some stuff, and I get an inspiration to do one post, which might be the one of a couple that week, or it might be one for the next 2 months. Like it just depends on how I'm feeling.
Yeah,
depends on how I'm feeling. So I'm a very moody person. But what I wanted to ask, this is a question for all you guys, and definitely Source, because my guy, he does this thing on there. What is the plan if TikTok gets shut down?
To fail. Just to fail.
Dang. I thought you were gonna go like YouTube Shorts or like IG Reels.
Nope, just throw in the towel. Just quit. No, I'm just. I'm done. I haven't asked this question. I don't know how many times. I don't never have an answer. My answer is TikTok ain't going nowhere. I am. I ain't gonna do it. I'm not gonna stereotype us. But nevertheless, I'd set up a Blue Sky, but I haven't done anything on it. I just set it up just because people said Blue Sky was a thing, so I just set it up just in case. I'm already on YouTube, but YouTube is terrible for me. I can't get to 500 subscribers on that, Joe. So, but it's there. Source, of course. I don't know, Source and Company. That's probably part of the reason because I don't even know the name. Instagram is finally moving a little bit. What am I up to? Like 3,500 or something like that, which is more than the 1,000 that I've been at for what seems like years. So there's that. But I don't like Instagram as much because it's not as interactive, and it's Facebook plus it's Facebook people, but then it's TikTok people too, and they meet and I don't really like that. So I don't know. It's gonna be a trial and error probably.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably the case for a lot of people. It's like, especially if TikTok is their main thing, they're trying to figure out what's that next short form, like vertical platform. Like, they're not trying to put out YouTube videos. Instagram, I noticed recently, like, their app has definitely been updated for more video focused things. So like, you definitely could tell that they trying to get that audience. But I think when Source said it's trial and error, that's what's going to be the case for so many people, because it's going to be like, I did all of y'all, were all of y'all on Vine? Remember when Vine closed?
I wasn't on Vine, but I remember.
I feel like it's going to be another case like that. Like when Vine shut down, all of those big creators, they kind of scrambled to figure out where are we going to go. And I think that's what's going to happen here with TikTok. Like another platform like TikTok might pop up. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know if there's like a definite answer of what's next with that. Like, and to Source's point, there's still a chance that it might stay. Like, they looking at death, but the Supreme Court could be like, actually, we'll hold off at any moment. So I say until it die. Yeah.
I mean, write it out.
Right.
Yeah, I see my guy. For those of you guys might not know, Source knows I am a huge Shark Tank guy. Okay. That's one of the few shows that I will tune in faithfully, on a particular night now. Because to me, regular TV has gotten to be trash. I think I was blessed for so long to have like a crazy, ABC was like on fire for a long time, where I had shows that I loved back to back, Blackish, The Middle, Modern Family. I'm getting all that in 1 week and one night. You know what I'm saying? It was love. Now it's not really a lot of nights that I can say I break my neck to get it. But I love Shark Tank.
Yeah.
I love Shark Tank. And my man, Mr. Wonderful, said Kevin O'Leary, he wants to look into buying it, but right now they're saying no. They're not selling it right now. So we're trying to save the platform, but just curious, man, what people gonna do.
Fight, struggle.
Like the chance of some of these platforms that are maybe somebody that's already out, maybe being able to adopt something similar. I don't know how that would work legally, but I was talking to somebody the other day. We were talking football, and he was telling me, I still haven't checked out. He says he does his podcast, his sports stuff, and one of the platforms he uses is actually Twitch. He uses Twitch. Twitch. And I'm on Twitch. And then one time I streamed this over there a couple of times, but I'm not that. I usually just go to Twitch to listen to. There's a couple of DJs there that are they're not on TikTok. Like Source, I listen to DJ B. Started back with the COVID stuff and all that. Then I found a couple of sports things whenever on there. But, I know they don't have all the features, that TikTok's going to have that the creators like to use. But, this thing would be interesting to see what their numbers would look like if this were to happen. Yeah.
That's what I need to move to. Because the wild part is I know people that my man in the group, Liddell, his name is de facto on Facebook. He went from, he's been a DJ lightweight. I would say lightweight. But he went on Twitch. He's from the time he's been on Twitch to now, I swear that man has been cross country a couple times on trips of DJ trips or gigs, playing different. But I'm like, what is happening on Twitch, dog? Like, it's a lot going on. Meanwhile, Instagram, like for me, just from this year, I have a video with 1.8 million views and a couple with like a quarter million. How many dollars have I gotten from any of those videos? The same amount that y'all got from those same videos. Not a dime. I don't know why. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know.
You didn't get up to at least buy a 6-pack, bro?
Nothing. Literally zero. Literally zero. So I need TikTok to stay because
you're getting something out of that one. Yeah, that's the other issue with a lot of these platforms. It's the barrier of entry of trying to get something for what you created is so high.
Yeah, it's a fight.
It's gonna be a fight struggle. So we're going to see what is happening, man. Good morning, everybody in the chat. People just checking in, even for like 2 seconds. We appreciate y'all. Donna, good morning. Hope all is well. Appreciate the love. Caesar, I don't know why I'm here. We don't either.
Hey.
Ken James, I guess he's talking about. I ain't got my glasses. I ain't got my readers on. I guess that's cheese. That cheese, I guess.
Yes, look like it's some cheese. I see a bunch of
cheeseheads checking in. What's up, Ken?
I see a Cry Eagles cry in there, like ooh.
And I guarantee you, the Don Mega himself hadn't popped in yet, because Caesar, he see your comment on it. It's about to be a problem. So when the Don Mega get in here, it's gonna be a problem. For all those that don't know, that's checking in for the first time and don't check us all the time, we are the SBP. Our main base operations is over on Facebook, and we have our resident Chargers fan catching a lot of grief today, Mr. Cesar Gonzalez, because his boys got smacked yesterday. Man, I mean, it was ugly.
Very ugly.
It's a very ugly game. So they gave it to him. We got people who don't even check in and post one time a month. They came in and had all types of memes for Caesar, comments, the whole 9 yards. But some would say it's a beautiful thing. So it is what it is. Caesar, big boy. He dished it. He can take it too. So he says the Bills are about to be crying next. We're going to see, because I can't wait to talk about that game. But first up, let's kick it off, guys. What I want to start with is the obvious, and it couldn't have happened at a better time for, it happened just before we decided to get on this show, and that would be the New England Patriots have made it official that Mike Vrabel is going to be the next head coach of their franchise. So a lot of people say this was a year too late. But we're here now. We can't talk about what happened in the past. So we could, but we're here now. So I got to, Diz, you are that guy. That is your squad. I want to start with you. What do you think about this move of Mike Vrabel?
I am in that camp that says it's a year too late. I wanted Vrabel last year. Nothing against Gerard Mayo. I was fully on board once they said that was the coach that we were going to have. I think the way that he got fired is disgusting. All of that. And that's unfortunately what mars the hiring of Vrabel for me. Like, if this would have happened last year, I would have been ecstatic, because I felt like all of the stars aligned. He got fired in Tennessee. We went our separate ways with Belichick. I'm like, it's here. This is what Patriots fans wanted. And then we were sold this dream of, well, this is Belichick's chosen successor. This is who we're going to stack our franchise against. This is going to lead us to the future. And then, I granted, it was a terrible year. We had a lot of lows, not a lot of highs. Other than Drake May. I think Drake May, he was a high. Like, seeing how well he played with that offensive line was great. But you can't sell a franchise on this is your future and then give up in the face of adversity. And that's sort of what Robert Kraft did, and keeps talking about how, I felt so terrible. He wasn't set up correctly. And it's like, well, then that's on y'all. Y'all hung this man out to dry, made him the scapegoat. And then all of a sudden now it's we're going to hire who we probably think that we should have last year. And it's like, well, why didn't you? Are you that arrogant? And now I'm liable to be like, well, how much is going to change? Vrabel's going to come in. He's a great coach, but is he going to have all of the stuff around him that he needs in order to succeed? And I don't have the confidence in that because of the way that you sort of ended this last regime. So it's cool. It's great. I hope for the best, obviously, but I'm not confident right now because I think everything around him isn't going to be set up correctly because they seem to only mess up right now.
Interesting enough. Yeah, definitely a year too late. Joel, you got any thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, how I think everything that happened, it kind of happened. It was kind of dirty, you know. We kind of saw it kind of coming after he was freed up. Once we heard that the Patriots were interested, it kind of it was kind of like, oh well. I don't know, did they have interviews prior to Vrabel? They did, right?
Yeah, they interviewed a couple people.
Yeah, it was all formality though.
But once they put out none of the other coaches who they interviewed had a post that literally said, "Hey, we interviewed them." Vrabel's did. Like, I thought he got hired 3 days ago because another time I woke up and it was a post from the Patriots account, interview conducted with Mike Vrabel, and it had like his picture. It looked like a hiring thing. And when I had some coffee and stuff and looked at it closer, you can see it says interviewed instead of hired. And it's like, okay, clearly we know who you put all your eggs in the basket for.
Sure. Interesting enough.
My bad, Joel, to jump in on that.
No, it's fine. It's your squad. You know how you feel. I don't have much else to say. To me, it was kind of a little dirty how it worked out. But like, and you said it yourself. You know, you don't like how everything worked out. It doesn't look good. But at the end of the day, you got a good coach, a real good coach. And I'm curious what the rest of his coordinator is going to look like and who he brings in. And I mean, obviously the Patriots have bigger issues. They're going to have to figure out, who they're going to draft and who else they're going to bring in. But this starts with the head coach. So
yeah,
good luck. I mean, congratulations.
I think, me personally, I think if we're talking about if he has the say so or tilting to the organization about who he wants in that draft where they're picking, I still think to me it's pretty obvious. Still, he's a defensive guy, right? And you're talking about a team that actually has some very decent pieces on that defense already, especially Christian Gonzalez, and the possibility of things you may be able to do with a guy like we say it every week. We talk about a Travis Hunter. If you're going to draft him to exclusively be a DB, it works great. If you're not going to draft, if you're not going to draft him to exclusively be a DB and they put him on the other side of the football, then you still have things that you can do with him. I'm still along the camp of making him draft him to play DB. I think him and Gonzalez in the back there would be crazy. And then, of course, to me, I've always thought that the Patriots need a little more excitement. To me, sometimes offensively they look a little bland, and I think that what you're getting, especially if you're going to bring in the right offensive coordinator, is that you get a chance to bring Travis in offensively, to mix in with some of those pieces, some things you can do with him as a wide receiver as well. So that's the key. What who else is he bringing in with him?
Yeah, that's fair.
Source.
They always like to throw a black man in an impossible job and be like, well, didn't get the job done. Oh, well. What was he supposed to do? What was he supposed to do? Also, having to follow Belichick. I don't know if Vrabel wanted to be the guy right after Belichick. Let's throw this guy in here. If he can't create a miracle, we'll dump him and get our guy. And that's where we are. Same trash actions as expected. Ain't nothing new. So
I think Kraft realized too. He made in one of his statements. You guys might have seen it, that he feels like he wanted to hire Mayo, and he was really crazy about Mayo, but he admits that he might have hired him. That Mayo might not really have been ready.
Man,
he said he feels like, and he says on his end, he feels like he did him a disservice by hiring him because he wanted him to succeed, but not really feeling like that he actually was ready. Now, I don't know,
But that goes against last year. You said y'all been grooming him as a successor for years. So then what were y'all doing then? So you claim that we've been setting you up for success, but actually you weren't ready for the success. So then it falls on y'all do it wrong. Y'all system clearly isn't great. Maybe the Patriot way, quote unquote, was Belichick way. But y'all latched yourself onto this, and Bill Belichick wasn't in the mood of grooming his successor, of course. Right. So it's like, that's where, like I said, the confidence isn't still there, especially because Elliott Wolf is still here. Elliot Wolf is terrible. Like, he shouldn't be a GM, but he has the name of his father, so he stays. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I love the fact that Vrabel is back, but I don't have the highest confidence right now. We'll see what the draft and what we do in the offseason.
Need some excitement though, man. I was talking with my sons this morning, and I was ready to come on here and talk about the potential coaches, because we've heard a lot of coaching news. Everybody and their mom was interviewed for a job this week, man. We completed the interview. What I thought, and this is just me talking outside, and I'm not a Patriots fan, so I might be just looking at it just as a football fan, and I just like excitement, right? I like to change things up, and I was telling my son, I actually thought a name that we're hearing is getting a lot of traction again is Cliff Kingsbury. All right, Cliff Kingsbury's name is getting a lot of traction, and deservedly so. After the exit, with the Cardinals, he sat home for a bit and he came back, and you see what that Washington offense is doing now. I thought that he would be an interesting candidate for New England, especially with a young quarterback with the tools that that you guys have over there with the youngin. And I don't want to compare him to a Jaden Daniels, but your guy has some playmaking ability.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a little different. It's a little different from your skill sets, of different skill set than what Tom Brady had, and some of the guys who tried to get the fill in. I thought Cliff Kingsbury in that offense over there would have been really interesting. Give us something that we haven't seen in New England in a while, as far as diversity and things of that nature. So, but it didn't happen. I don't make those decisions.
You're right. I wish I did. We wouldn't have had to deal with this, because I would have hired Vrabel last year. But we dealt the cards that we are dealt.
Yeah, no. Also, what I wanted to get into, news came out, of course, last week, and we talked about it on this show. I think Didge last week, and then a couple of us. Joel, you were involved in some of the conversations we had in the chat that we have over on the X platform, when we were talking about the draft, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And talking about the draft became even more interesting now, because we see with the Cleveland Browns, what's their next move? There was already talk about Deshaun Watson and what that meant for this organization, what they meant for this franchise. But now it seems like he suffered another setback. And there are talks that he could miss most, if not all, of next season. Right? So does this, in you guys' mind, guarantee that they're going to take a quarterback now? Sure. If I think they're going to probably take one anyway.
I think so. I can't see who else, because you're not, as much as we all love Jameis, you're not running it back with him if you're thinking you're trying to get Super Bowl, or if you're trying to even get playoffs. That's so fair. you kind of have to.
Is he a free agent too?
I think so.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. I think Jameis may be a free agent too. So even if he wasn't, you're not.
Yeah, you're like I said.
Future.
That's not your future franchise quarterback. It, like you said, it throws so much of the draft for a loop now, because whoever's going number one, whether it's Cam Ward or Shador, the other's probably going here now, which I thought if the Browns weren't the number 2 pick, I don't think they would have. Like, 2 quarterbacks are probably going to go top 3, because I think the Giants would have fell there, and the Giants are picking a quarterback, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Right.
On my end, now I'm more worried is, do we get Travis Hunter? I don't know if we do. And that's where I'm like, the Browns are going to ruin this, because even if they don't take a quarterback, they're taking Travis Hunter then.
Yeah, I don't think they can afford not to go quarterback.
I agree.
That's fair.
Well, I thought that before the whole setback with Deshaun, because there was this whole thing with there's been a lot of talk that they were just going to go in with Deshaun again and run it back and maybe bring in a vet for competition and all this shit. So it didn't sound like maybe they would go quarterback at first.
If he was healthy, I thought he was, because you can't have a
financially
$50-60 million quarterback riding the bench. Like, that's crazy.
That's fair. And I agree. I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I still, looking at him play, you can't say that that's your.
You are right.
You know, like, so, like, you have to draft one of the quarterback, even though I was hoping they would just, we're going to go Travis Hunter. I'm like, cool, that works for me. Like, let him fall. But after this news, it's kind of hard to believe that they won't pick up whoever falls at 2 between Warden and Shadur, and that's probably their best bet. Like, why wouldn't you do that for yourselves? As a franchise, it's almost a disservice not to, kind of, unless they decide, we'll draft best player available and go a second rounder with a quarterback or a late round or something like that. But that's taking a chance.
Hey, Source, do you think, though, Joe just mentioned Shadur, do you think that Deion will let his boy play in Cleveland?
I was just about to ask that.
No, he gonna Eli that thing.
So outside of Jameis, and obviously Deshaun Watson was hurt, they have Dorian Thompson-Robinson and Bailey Zappi still on. Bailey Zappi still on contract.
Bailey Zappi's the future, man, right there.
So
that's your man's, ain't it?
Look, Zappy Hour was a 2-week fascination.
Flash in the pan.
Man, listen. I know we're on different pages, guys. And I know we got to talk about everything. But man, talking about sorry teams on the Wildcard Weekend is killing me right now. Y'all killing me. Talk about these bums. Sorry, bitch. These bums. How many more bums we got to talk about before we talk about the playoffs?
See, that's that playoff talk right there.
Y'all might be one and done in the playoffs. You talking a big game right now.
You are not wrong. You are not
the Eagles
wrong.
won in the playoffs, then Source would have said
that. More bum talk.
You already know, Joel. You ain't even been here.
Joel been. I was done after week 2. Let's be fair. I was done. I was like.
Yeah. Now, well, I brought it up too, just because I know with we've been talking over, in our message, Joe. I know we were talking about the quarterback situation and where that lands you guys, of course, sitting here at the number 3 pick. And it's, of course, there's going to be a lot of jockeying before then teams trying to move up. I would imagine, Vegas trying to move up to leapfrog.
I'm sure.
You never know what the Jets are going to do. We don't think Carolina's going to try to move anywhere. Jacksonville is straight. But I was just saying that, for you guys sitting there, obviously wanting a quarterback, and then the obvious two being Shador and Cam.
Right.
Some things has got to happen. I don't think the Deshaun Watson news really did you guys any favors. That's what I'm saying.
Not at all. Well, that's why. I mean, look, it was over until we solidified the 3rd pick. I was sitting there like I'd rather have it than the 4th pick, because then you're out of both quarterbacks and the
you
best
guys
player.
might draft what's old boy out of Penn State, Drew Aller.
If that's the thing, Drew Aller would have to put his name back in, because I think he decided he was going back to college, but he could.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, well, I think he had. I don't know if he still has time, because I know there was a point where he had to make the decision to go back to college or put himself in the draft.
That last game was terrible.
And I said, look, if you get the top 3 promise, it's hard not to do that. I get that.
Right.
But it's also one of those things. What you say, I'm going back, especially to Penn State. You don't go back. I mean, you don't renege on that. So
that's fair.
I don't know. That's up to him, obviously. And his name is currently not available. Well, if it was, that'd be different. And then you probably
thought
have
he
3
was a senior, so I didn't know he could go back. So
yeah, I don't know how that should work either. So
I tell you what to watch though. What we're watching, I'm sure we'll talk about it down the line. Watch Minnesota in this JJ McCarthy thing.
I agree with that.
Because just watch it. I don't know. You draft a quarterback that high. And granted, you don't have to make a move, but I have to imagine that teams that are going to miss out on the possibility of getting the quarterback that they want are not going to entertain the idea of contacting Minnesota and say, y'all gonna pay Sam? Y'all gonna pay Sam? All right, what you want for JJ?
Right.
Definitely gonna overpay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I want for JJ. So interesting enough, man. Interesting enough, something to watch. Let's get into these games from yesterday, man. So we got into yesterday. There were 2 football games yesterday. Of course, the first one was the Texans and the Chargers. Caesar's still over there crying. The Texans. It's one of those games that if you
like, oh, good Lord.
Because this was my cousin had. We'll talk about it obviously. But oh man, my cousin was going through it.
Chargers.
Yeah, it's one of those games.
No,
that
he had FanDuel.
Oh.
If you watch the first half of the game, if you didn't watch the whole game, you would probably think that this game was just a blowout from the jump.
Right.
We actually went to halftime with a pretty decent game. But when you talk about something about the wheels falling off while you're driving, this was like one of those things, bro. It got ugly for the I'm about to say the San Diego Chargers, for the Chargers really quick.
Same difference.
Man, and so you look at it for the Chargers in the season, disappointingly after such promise in Harbaugh's first year with the organization, and then the Texans, it couldn't have ended better because we've been talking about for the past few weeks how they've been on a downhill slide, and they put the right things together at the right time, and they got it done here in the playoffs. So, what was your thoughts on this game overall, man?
My thoughts were, I can't believe I had the nerve to believe in Justin Herbert, and I want to say Jim Harbaugh, but I can't really blame. Blaming Harbaugh is one thing, but Justin Herbert going into the play. Oh, why was that? I'm very upset with myself. I've been down on Houston all season long.
Understandable.
Because they just been looking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
CJ been looking crazy, even though he's looked better than I probably gave him credit for. Because I focused on the bad games more than the okay games. But they just been looking shaky the whole season, literally the whole season. And they just happened to be in a division that was kind of easy to win. So they got that. But man, and they still looked like that team until that play where CJ dropped the snap, scooped it up, and hit the receiver downfield for the first down, big play. Until that point, they were still the same team. They were still the same team that we've seen all season. After that point, and then they went down and punched it in, then it was like, we are the division champs, and we at the crib. Let's get busy. And San Diego, aka Los Angeles, looked like the same squad that we kind of expect. Unfortunately, once they got down, it was a wrap, man. Oh man, I picked them twice. I picked them twice.
I think the only thing I'm upset with myself about this if we're going to talk in fantasy terms, I screwed myself terribly. I don't know what I was doing. This is why you shouldn't try to change your fantasy lineups while you're supposed to be working. I went in literally 30 minutes before the game kicked off, and I was changing one of my FanDuel lineups. And I messed around and put Ladd McConkey in the game. Some kind of way, I must not have submitted it.
Oh.
So here I am the whole time thinking, man, it finally paid off. It paid off. Because usually I mess up and make the switch, and then the people I take out,
they go off.
Go crazy.
I lie to you not, man. For about 3 hours, I'm sitting here thinking that I made the switch, only to get home to come back and look at my points. And it said I had no points. And I'm like, wait a minute. Somebody's sitting in first place right now with 40-something points. I don't have – hold on. And I go in and check that lineup, and I guess I didn't hit submit, so yeah. So I don't know who these other people got in their lineups, but I'm going to need a miracle now. I need some people to show out today and tomorrow.
So this is for the whole weekend?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I definitely had, look, I don't know if you can see this. I had McConkey, Lamar, Henry, and Nico. And I still finished outside the money.
Wow. Wow.
0.4 points. The threshold was 138.6. I had 138.2. I'm like,
Well, where I failed was, so I only submitted 2 lineups this week. One was, of course, the SBP, and then one was a larger one. Now, luckily, in the larger pool, I had a totally different lineup. I had McConkey in there from the jump, but so did some other people. So,
right.
To be continued. Where I screwed up was in the SBP. And some of the people who are much smarter than me, and I forget who's in first and second place and stuff right now, they're smarter than me every week, as it seems. I think it might have been, I don't know if it was Joe Cassis, maybe. Joe definitely smarter than me because him and Cheryl will be up there first, second place.
Yeah.
Every week, just about. So, every week. So, I need a whole lot of help today and tomorrow. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I ain't going to cry about my money that I'm not going to get.
Frustrating.
Hey, Joel, what do you think? Did you get a chance to peep into this game yesterday?
I got to watch some of it, and I was like, it was like you said, it was close early on, so I was like, I had no rooting interest. I figured the Chargers would win just based on what I've seen from them. And Houston, I liked Houston going into the season. They kind of disappointed, even though they still won the division. But I thought I'd see more from them. So I just didn't have as high hope for them going into the game. And I had Herbert in my fantasy team as my starting quarterback throughout. And he helped me win the Super Bowl, the fantasy thing. So I'm very happy. My first Super Bowl, I was very like, hey.
There you go.
I kind of had a soft spot for Herbert because he didn't let me down. He didn't play great, but he didn't let me down. And then this week, he just completely shit the bed. I'm like, well, thank God my Super Bowl was last week. And I can let go of that. That was very discouraging. Like, oh, poor guy. That sucks. But thank God you saved that terrible game for this week. Because that would have really killed me.
that would have been over.
Oh, it would have been bad. But I was shocked. It was just like turnover. And I was like, what is happening right now? And it's like, and I wasn't even looking up half the time because I was like reading at the same time. And it's like, it was bad. It was so I was like, well, I'm on to the next game. So hopefully that's a little better. But I like Justin Herbert. And I think that's what's sitting. There was a lot of high hope for him early on, and then there was kind of a little bit fell off. And I think he's kind of turned it up a little bit the last couple of years. But that game didn't help at all, and it really sucks because I think the Chargers are a good team. They're not great, but obviously, Houston turned it up on that when they needed to, and here they are. Good for them.
Yeah, you talking about the turnovers, man. What was that? 4 interceptions when he had only thrown 3.
That's crazy.
It's
and they brought their heat on them too. There's like 4. Man, Houston was coming. Like 4 sacks yesterday. There's a couple other ones I thought were going to be sacks that Herbert just managed to get out of. Like this whole thing just went downhill like fast, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It was very unfortunate. Like I was saying, I was watching it because my cousin, he had his FanDuel and he needed both Herbert and Stroud to throw over 250. And I was telling him before, I'm like, both of these are really good pass defenses. I wouldn't bank on both of them getting it. And we were both in the agreement that Stroud wasn't going to be the one to get 250. Like I thought the Texans was going to win, but I didn't think that he was going to get 250 yards. So for Herbert to finish 8 yards away from 250, he was disgusted. He threw a pass that would have got him over it, and it got intercepted. And I was like, so that was just the epitome of his day. But at some point, we got to talk about Justin Herbert's lack of performance in the playoffs.
Yes.
What was his last playoff game? They were up 27-0 and lost. Obviously, you see what happened in this game. I know a lot of people love to give Lamar he's a regular season quarterback, or I hear it even sometimes for Josh Allen too, and it's like y'all got a man over there in LA who is going into the playoffs and giving you absolutely nothing. And I don't know if it's because he ain't getting the hype that the other two are getting in the regular season, but it is almost crickets. Like yesterday, I feel like it was the first time I started to hear people talk about, all right, are we going to just call Herbert a regular season QB? And I think that's the biggest takeaway of this game. It's like, yo, what happens to you in the playoffs? Are the lights too bright?
Yeah.
It's tight end let him down too on that after the first pick.
Oh yeah, I think
the back-to-back joints.
Yeah. I was gonna say I know there were a couple passes that weren't his fault.
That cross body across the field joint was crazy. I was like, what are you doing? You just got the rock. But
to be fair, I'm not gonna act like CJ Stroud was out there lighting them up. Like it wasn't a crazy offensive game on either side. Like there were 9 or 10 punts.
He made plays. He made some big plays, especially with his legs on a couple of joints.
For sure.
That's it. Yeah.
For sure. Their running game definitely helped them a lot. But I'm saying I think there were 9 or 10 punts. Obviously, we got the 4 turnovers from Charger side. I think Houston might have had 1 or 2. Because they had a couple fumbles and stuff. So it was overall an ugly game. But Houston's defense put them in a much better position for their offense to be able to get field goals, to be able to be close enough where they could get a short field so they can score. Whereas the Chargers, they looked out of sorts. I don't know if they weren't ready. I don't know what happened on their end.
Yeah, you gotta look at the Chargers and see just really what's next for them at this point. Obviously they got some positives going into the offseason because we talked about McConkey. Monster dude had almost 200 yards receiving. Man. And he's obviously a guy. He's giving me shades of what Cooper Kupp was and then what Puka Nacua has become is the target monster. He had 14 targets yesterday.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. But it's obvious now with the losses on the offensive pieces like the Keenan Allens and those pieces this offseason, for me, the Chargers definitely have to go out and address the receivers. They got to address the receivers to get him some help because the defense is stout. Don't let yesterday fool you. There's a lot of things that went into those 32 points. Right. That Charger defense is stout, and the Harbaugh team is going to play defense.
So you said McConkey had almost 2. That means nobody else had over 20. Because he had 242.
He had like 180, right?
Like 197. I thought I saw that 197 might have been the final total.
So yeah, that means nobody had. Let me look it up real quick.
Okay.
That's almost like the the Penn State game the other day, and then the receiver ain't catch. Didn't catch a pass. Everything was a running back or tight end. But
yeah, he had 197. Wild. The next highest receiving total was 16.
By who?
Disley.
Just by the tight end.
Disley. It was Disley?
Wow. Yeah.
Will Disley, yeah.
Funny.
But it goes crazy. From 9 catches to 2. Like
that's actually the direction. I don't see any other where you can go. If you want to look at adding another veteran running back that might be out there, that's fine. I don't think the running back thing is the problem because we saw when Dobbins was healthy, we saw Dobbins get busy early in the season. I like when they can keep Gus on the field, when they can keep those guys. I don't think the running game is really a problem. I think you got to start in this off season with addressing the passing game. When I say the passing game, is more or less getting some more receivers over there.
Absolutely.
And build that way. They're gonna play defense.
McConkey's a start. He's a rookie. So
yeah. And again, I take my hat off to the Texans yesterday because I say we talked about their struggles, especially the tail end of the season, not being able to get anything done. Remember the running game? I don't think they had like less than 5 yards rushing at the half. And then you saw what Mixon and them did in the second half.
Yeah, once they got that lead.
Yeah.
D'Amico decided, look, we playing good defense. Let's just run the ball. I'm gonna keep it old school. And then Mixon and them started to open some things up, and they got rough for the Chargers, and everything went downhill after that.
Yeah, their defense played crazy. It was insane.
Yeah. So we look at them going into next week's game. There's a possibility they could be. Well, there's a lot of stuff that can happen. They could be playing possibly the Bills, but they
No, it's wait.
No, I mean, I'm thinking about Baltimore could be playing either, my fault, the Bills or the Texans, right?
Yeah.
That's how I can fall because what's the name didn't win the division. I mean, but anyway, if you look at this, the Texans going to this opening round of the wild card in their franchise history, 6-2. But so they're pretty positive. They continue, going into yesterday. The bad part for them, they are 0-5 in the divisional round.
Shit.
Tall task, no matter who they end up playing next week.
Dang.
How often is that divisional round game? I mean, granted, I know this one's going to be on the road too, but I wonder how often that divisional round game is always on the road.
Yeah. Yep.
Theirs is.
And right now, I think going into next year, they're going to have to make some pieces, though. I don't know who would have to, what they would have to do, but I think they got like around about $9 or $10 million right now in cap space. So some moves will definitely have to be made there if they're going to make some additions, unless they can just hit it off receiver-wise in the draft. The next up we had, of course, the game that I wish would have been the first game. I'll be honest with you. I kind of wanted them to switch it, but we had the second game with the Ravens and the Steelers, a game that we see a lot, because they play twice a year, and then of course they also, meet in the playoffs. And we saw Lamar and them take out the Steelers, 28-14. Nice effort, balanced effort. Lamar played well. Derrick Henry tore it up, had like 100 yards rushing at the half. And I just thought the whole game plan was perfect, especially coming in without a Zay Flowers. Diz, what do you think about this one?
This game, like 28-14 isn't necessarily a close score, but this game wasn't even as close as that. Like 28-14, you make it sound like, oh, the Steelers were at least in it. This game was over at halftime. This game might have been over second quarter. Like the Steelers offense, good for them for finally showing some signs of life in the second half. But man, that offense, they did nothing. I think they ended the game with like 40, 50 yards rushing.
Right.
And it was just like it was crazy. The defense couldn't stop Lamar. Like they couldn't stop Derrick Henry. It was
run game.
You could clearly tell that these teams were going in two separate directions, and that one team is monumentally better than the other.
Man, I don't know if you guys saw any of the interviews with some of these players, but some of these veterans, man, I'm not even gonna lie to you, look like they didn't have enough. Man, bro, like the interviews were crazy. Like when they were talking to them, of course, you might say, of course, Prime, they were disappointed. This was a little different.
No, they looked defeated.
They looked to that point like, man, I mean, is it ever gonna get any better here? We just gonna get in here and just get beat the first round all the time, and then of course lose to a rival. I saw my guy TJ Watt, man. I'm still looking at TJ. TJ kind of had to look like, I wonder what it would take for me to get up out of here type. Like he was. You can see it in his face. You can hear it in his voice. Hayward, like those interviews were a little different, man. They were definitely a little different. But I think in this game, guys, if you look at it, we were just talking about the rushing, and they stuck to a formula. They got there and they stuck to a formula that worked. I went back and looked at it. So in this game, the Ravens had run the ball more in the first half than they did in the entirety of the previous playoff game.
Yeah, I saw that. They were making a big deal about that.
The Chiefs game.
Yeah.
You got a new weapon back there. You use them. You ride with success. That's what they did. Run the ball 11 more times in the first half than they did the entire game, the last playoff game they had.
Yeah, you remember that game? We was all looking at the TV like, why y'all ain't handing? It don't matter if you get yards. At least try. You have to at least establish something.
Right.
Derrick Henry had a single rush that was more than they had than the Steelers had the entire game.
I get stiff arm from people. This was a stiff arm weekend. You know, Wildcard Weekend.
Back to back.
Bro, like both games, it was like nasty stiff arm.
That Derrick Henry stiff arm, I'd have had to see him in the parking lot. I'd have probably lost that. I'd have had to see him in the parking lot.
I believe.
Yeah.
That was his boy.
I'd have had to see it. Like, bro, we got to talk.
That ain't even
Those
stiff
two are
arm,
close.
though.
If you don't know, if you never see, like, we don't know a lot of personal stuff about these players, but I do know that over the years, those two have a relationship. They're close.
You're right.
Yeah, do your boy like? Can you imagine the barbecue in the off season?
That's what I'm saying. Like we gotta have words after
We gotta
this.
talk.
The slap down ain't even no stiff arm no more. Them joints is straight, like violent. The way they try to punch the ball out, that's how
That's how you hitting them.
That's how Joe Mixon joint was, and that's how Derrick Henry joint was.
We see the Don Mega. He been in here for a little bit. Don, what's good? Lydia is in the house as he patiently waits for his boys to take the field for the first time next week. They got his boys on vacation for real.
Ain't nobody talking about them people, Lydia.
His boys on vacation for real. And our fam, Sean is in the house. Sean Johnson, what up, boy?
What up, Sean?
No doubt. But yeah, Source, your overall thoughts, man.
Thoughts and prayers for the Steelers. Good God. I mean, they lost 4 games coming into this week, including to the Ravens. So 4 straight. That's 4 straight joints to end the season.
That's terrible.
It is.
They were already headed the wrong direction. So you think about that, and then you're going against the most dynamic team in the league at this point, the most dynamic squad. Like somebody could argue Detroit, but as far as like they can just bow and you down 21-0, this is one of them teams. And when it was 14-0, it was like and it was 14-0 and Baltimore had the ball. It was like this ain't gonna end well. But thankfully Pittsburgh was able to muster up a couple of scores. Man, that George Pickens catch. I give George Pickens a hard time for acting crazy and all that, but dog, he caught that joint between the two and hit the spin. Oh, that joint was disgusting.
I was shocked.
Disgusting.
The madnisms.
Yeah, for real. I saw
it.
somebody do that in real life. I saw 2 different people do that in real life. And yeah, that's crazy. But anyway, the thing that's sticking out in my mind is Lamar said, I don't care what nobody say. I'm going to tote this joint today.
Man.
And however we win, that's how we're going to win. I ain't trying to stand in no pocket if I don't need to. I'm going to tote this joint, and we're going to do what we came here to do. Then to see at one point, I think after a big run, I think Derrick Henry was at 21 rushes for 168. I was like, man, that man averaging 8 yards every time he touched the ball. 8. So it wasn't until the end of the game when they would just run the ball over and over that his average went down a little bit.
It still finished at 7.2.
That's craziness. That is craziness, yo.
Ridiculous.
I mean, Saquon, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying they look good. The boys look good. That is the good version that we like to see of the Baltimore Ravens, and hopefully we don't see the shakier version of that squad anymore this season, because I want to see what they can do if they play up to full potential. And it's gonna be fun, man. I love it. Don't y'all love it?
I do.
So,
have y'all seen the things about the reports about that the Steelers should potentially trade Mike Tomlin?
They can't.
I haven't
They
seen
can't?
it. They can't.
He got no trade clause, I believe.
Does he? I didn't know coaches had no trade clause.
I could have sworn when he signed that last deal that there was a no trade clause in it.
Here, I'll double. I didn't know coaches could have no trade clause.
Now, but it's funny you bringing that up, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm one of the first people talking about what y'all gonna do. What are y'all gonna do if y'all do this? Y'all, this man has been in the playoffs, blah 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 blah. And I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm beginning to wonder. I'm gonna be honest, and I hate to say it. I'm one of the biggest, Tomlin supporters. He might need a change of scenery.
Yeah,
I mean, look, 8 years. You go back to the last 8 seasons, 6 straight playoff losses, man. Tying the Miami Dolphins. The offense itself, it's the same offense. It's like they're expecting to come in year after year and just run the same thing. The offense is. I know I was talking about New England earlier about it's just no excitement for me. The offense is blank. You come in with you bring in an Arthur Smith who is noted for running the football, bro. What did your boy have? Like 17 yards yesterday. They can't run the football. The offense doesn't change. Like
I like one too.
You know, you got one guy who could be a stud receiver, but you can't never figure out how to bring in other pieces that are actually going to help. I'm not here to down Mike Tomlin. I don't want the man not to have a job, but I'm almost at the point with Mike Tomlin is like, I kind of feel like he might need to change the city. Did you find it, Did?
Yeah, he does have that again. I didn't know coaches could have no trade clauses, so I was shocked. But yeah, he does. He has no. Somebody actually called and asked, apparently, according to Adam Schefter, and that they were informed like he has a no trade clause. So, I don't think that he'll go without a job. To your point of you don't want to see him without a job. Like I fully believe if the Steelers said, hey, we're gonna go a separate direction, we're gonna go part ways. There's no way he's not getting a call because it's not that he's a bad coach. It's not like you don't go. I don't even know how many seasons it is now, but you don't go that many seasons. It's definitely in the double digits and not having a losing season and be a bad coach.
Right.
It's just to your point. Either is he their GM too? Is he coach and GM?
I don't know.
So it's something that's causing them to not. They're missing something. I don't think Arthur Smith was the choice.
Yeah, it's like guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. I go into when they make the playoffs. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's almost every year from what I see from them. It's like no matter who they're playing, I personally do not expect them to win the game. That's how the feeling I've had with the Steelers much of the last 6 or 7 years. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Omar Khan is the GM.
Okay. So that's the thing. Like, I don't know if he's putting, because I'm assuming he has obviously at least a good chunk of the player personnel decisions. They're not bringing in the right pieces. And like you said, it's definitely on offense because that defense is always a monster. But offensively, it's like, it seems like ever since Big Ben left.
That's it.
That's
before Big Ben left.
I mean, yeah, his twilight years weren't the greatest either, but he was able to do enough because I think he took them to the AFC Championship game. I think that was their last when they had a win in the playoffs. They went all the way to the AFC Championship game, and since then it's been nothing.
Who's been the biggest offensive weapon since Big Ben?
Who's been the best quarterback since Big Ben? Not counting Russell.
That's another thing.
Kenny Pickett?
That's not
exactly.
maybe
Mitchell Mason. I don't know. I'm just
Mason Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph, yeah.
Mitch and Mason. But man, like this is I don't know, Joel, man. It's just something got to give, man. Like something's got to give in Pittsburgh. It's one thing not having luck and not missing the playoff, making the playoffs, and when you get there and you just having these first round exits, and it looks plain, and then you get the breaks. They went into that game yesterday looking like we're just gonna stick to our game plan. That's what it's gonna be, and we're known the Steelers to be one of the most physical franchises out there. And they tried to get physical with the Ravens, and they got blasted. They got torn apart at their own game. Yeah. Things that got to change. And then, Joel, what you think about this, too? We're talking about the changes possibly with Tomlin. The organization has to take a look because you do know that both Fields and Russ are free agents.
Yeah, those were both 1 year deals. I knew Russ's was. I didn't know Fields was.
Yep.
Yeah. That's very interesting. That's very intriguing because I really doubt they'll have both of them next year.
Yeah, definitely.
Probably one of them. I'm not sure which one at this point. And that's another key.
I signed Russ back because I think Russ played.
He definitely did.
Right.
But
second half he played well.
He resurrected his what we thought was dead career at this point. After his his time with the Broncos, but he looked better. He played better. He played good there. But I don't know how much time he has there. So eventually Pittsburgh's gonna have to look at maybe drafting actually drafting a quarterback. They tried that already once. It didn't really work out, but that doesn't mean they should stop. You got to keep trying eventually. And look, I actually do agree. I think it's time for Mike Tomlin himself to move on. And like maybe it is just a change of scenery because he's a good coach. Steelers are a good franchise. They just can't get they're capped at this point. And a lot of it comes down to like we were just saying, offensive weapons. Like Russell wasn't old.
Yeah.
Pickens has got a good he's young and good talent. I like Jalen Warren a lot.
Pickens.
But like no stand. Who's your Pro Bowler? You know, like that's like they really don't have a lot there. Defense is still stout, but like obviously not good enough to stop the running offense of the Ravens. So like there's just not going to be. They're good, but not good enough.
A lot of teams can't stop that.
That's fair. And look, we'll see if they can go all the way this year. Well, you know, look, the Ravens are looking good this year. There's no doubt. There's now with King Henry back there helping out Mar. You know, it's really nice. But like with the Steelers, like they're capped out. I mean, honestly, like if you're ownership, you sit there like, well, what else can we do? And it's going to look like this again next year, honestly. It's not going to look that different.
Yeah.
Like, what are they going to do?
Yeah, it's Cuz Jay, what up, Cuzzo? He said they devalued the wide receiver, so they never have a deep threat. I think they thought they had a couple of people when they had Claypool. They thought Claypool was going because he had one.
Everybody crazy.
That
was another flash in the pan.
Yeah. So it's right. Everybody is crazy over there. Everybody out there kicked off, fighting in the locker room, getting sent home.
Claypool, Juju, Antonio Brown.
Juju wasn't in Juju's defense. He wasn't that crazy. He was just TikTok dancing everywhere.
No,
he was a bit sure.
Yeah, you're right. He wasn't crazy. He was efficient when he had somebody on the other side. And
that's also true.
When nobody on the other side, he became, a ghost.
Now, Jay, Cuzzo, I don't know if I agree with that one because you and I have some good debates. He says Pickens is a good number 2, but doesn't have the hands to be a 1. I think Pickens could be.
Maybe
I think Pickens is a number 1. I think he can be a number 1. I just think his head. It ain't the hands, it's his head sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think with the proper guy on the other side of him, I think that Pickens can be a number 1 receiver. His talent crazy.
I don't know, man. I might agree with that. That stat about needing the 100 yards going into week 18 and then finishing with 899. That's a lot.
Ain't all this fun, man.
It ain't. But that's a crazy stat.
Yeah, it is.
What's the stat?
So going into week 18, he needed 100 yards to get 1,000. I think like there might have been like some prop bets or something, or like he might have had a contract incentive. He finished the year with 899 because his one catch he lost the yard. Mm-hmm. And I think they might have went back and adjusted it to it was just a 0-yard catch. But either way, you went into that game needing 100 yards and finished that game basically needing 100 yards.
Dang.
That's terrible.
Jay said he can't catch. I would say this, Jay. He reminds me of a few people we talk about all the time that he'll drop the balls that you think he's supposed to catch, and then he'll catch the stuff that like, hey, how in the world did he snag it? That's just the type of player he is.
He definitely does that.
Yeah, he'll mess around and be in double coverage, and I don't know how in the world he brings that in, but then he'll have that one where he has the inside track, and he's about to take off with it, and the balls, as he drops it, and it goes through his hands, So there are some issues there. His drops out, he has some terrible drops. But anyway, before we move into these games, man, I would just like to say that, the Steelers just got to do something, man. You came in yesterday, you got out physical. These people ran for what, $299, and you guys didn't crack 100, I don't think. Like
they didn't crack 50.
Like this is terrible. It's just a terrible situation all the way around.
Hey, Jay is not wrong. I don't think. I'm just looking at a random stat. Of the 31 receivers, they had 100 targets or more. Mm-hmm. Pickens was 20th graded overall, and in that group, he had a 13.2% drop rate, which is the worst of them.
Oh, agree. He drops balls. I just don't agree. I don't agree that the fact that he doesn't have the potential to be a number 1 receiver, because I do. I'll say this. People that were saying the same thing, and I don't want to compare him to my guy, but how short people's memories are. I ain't talking about him. I'm talking about people in general. People were saying the same thing. Were questioning CD Lamb before this year about him dropping the football. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
No, okay. Yeah,
it's fair.
Yeah. So
I'm
not saying to that extent, but they would definitely question. So, but we got some games, man. Let's get into these games. I love the way they lined up these games today, and actually in the order that they did them. Like about yesterday's games, I was wishing the Steelers game was first, and then Texas game will be later. I love the way this is lined up.
I felt like Steelers Ravens felt like a night game. Like you needed that to be the night game.
It'd be cold out there, Jones.
Yeah,
I didn't feel that way because I knew it was gonna happen. I ain't want to watch. I ain't really want to watch that.
Unfortunately,
it is what it is. But good matchup, man, with two very exciting quarterbacks going at it at 1:00 down in Buffalo, where it's cold like it always is. So we got my guy Bo Nix taking on Josh Allen, in which could potentially be a thriller. I don't know about you guys. This game. The second I saw the matchup, man, I was hype about this. I was definitely hype about this. Source, you know how I feel about Bo Nix. I spoke it. Bo can ball. I'm sorry. Bo plays football, y'all. He's a tough kid. But Josh Allen is Josh Allen, and I gave y'all the reasons last week why Josh Allen is the MVP of the league, even though he ain't gonna get it. Yeah, I said it. I feel that way. But he ain't gonna get it. With Source, what's your overall feelings on this matchup today, man?
I think the average person believes that Buffalo is just going to walk all over Denver.
They shouldn't.
But I also believe that the average person doesn't pay attention to Denver, which is, neither here nor there. And they're not exciting, and they're not scary necessarily, but they play on both sides of the ball. And you'd be surprised by Bo Nix. I don't want to say efficiency because it might not be true, but his overall play has been positive, and that's primed, man. Like we just mentioned. I don't know why exactly, but that's his guy. Drew Lock also was his guy, but that's neither here nor there.
Hey, man.
Mahomes is my guy. Hey, look, hold on, sure. When you nail something the way I did with Patrick Mahomes before everybody was talking about it.
Hey, man, I give you credit for that.
About him, undrafted. So I'm allowed to fumble every now and then, bro. Great fumble, bro. I mean, I'm just saying.
Drew Lock was a big fumble.
Yeah, I fumbled Drew Lock. I'm back though, bro. I'm back.
He was on that Patrick Mahomes though.
Yeah, no, that was a home run right there. That was a touchdown.
Before this blew up, before the Super Bowls, I said we were going to draft. This guy was gonna be it.
Cousins is hit or miss, Joel. We ain't gonna bring up Cousins.
Well, I mean, when he hit, he hit. When he doesn't, he doesn't.
Well,
you can't deny he had a good career.
Hey, man, Michael Jordan shot an air ball or two in his career, man.
Well, Buffalo, even though we've seen them put up 40 4 times this year? I think they put up 44 times this year.
That sounds about right.
I know it's at least 3. I feel like it was 4 later in the season, but
it was 4.
4 times, 40 plus, even though they took an L in one of them joints. That's a scary proposition, man. And we have to give the credit, and we've been giving the credit. We give all the credit pretty much to Josh Allen, but Cook in the backfield gets busy, does his numbers. Kincaid contributes. The receivers contribute across the board. I mean, somebody got to catch the ball. Josh Allen got to throw it somewhere.
That's
and then it really truly feels like Josh Allen does the rest. That's what it feels like. I can't imagine Buffalo without Josh Allen at the helm and what they'd be, but it would be very different than this. We don't have to pick yet, do we? Are we picking now?
You can. Yeah, go ahead.
I got Buffalo. I wouldn't, I won't put it past Denver to be able to go to Buffalo in the cold. No surprise there, and give them a tough time. I think it's going to be a tough game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any stretch. But I do have Buffalo. The first score that crossed my mind was 31-27, so I'm going to stick with that. Because because Josh Allen cannot allow this opportunity to pass by. He can't let this opportunity pass by. And man, imagine Buffalo at the crib against the Ravens next week. Imagine that. Oh my God.
Woo.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I for the folks that are 100% sure that Buffalo is gonna beat the brakes off of Denver, I be careful. I'm not saying it can't happen. We've seen Denver get out to some. I mean, some of the Bills. I'm sorry, get out to some fast starts. But Denver that type of team, man. Denver that type of team, and even that type of team, I'm telling you, with Bo Nix at the helm and the way they play, I mean, they go down 14-0. I don't think this game is over. Like this, you just got to be careful. Something about Bo Nix in that second half. We also got to remember, guys, it's gonna be a very emotional game for Von Miller. Von Miller spent was it 10 seasons? I think 10 seasons. Down there with the with the Broncos. So it's going to be fun to watch to see how Von Miller performs in this bad boy. Joel, what you think about today's game? Who you think will win?
Honestly, this is probably the hardest one for me to choose of all the games that were out this weekend. I sat there and I'm like, I don't know, this might be the toughest one to decide because I think Buffalo is really that good, but I've seen what Denver can do. As that Denver defense is legit, like if not the best, one of the best in the league. I believe in them, and I've seen what Bo Nix can do when I did not expect him to do any of that. So like he's special. That kid is much better than I was expecting, and I would, like you said, I wouldn't sleep on them at all to give them a tough game or even pull it out. But that honestly, if it's Buffalo's time. If they plan on doing anything, it has to be now. So I think Buffalo has to pull through more than they will. I think they have to, because like Josh Allen has his own issues he has to work through in terms of like reputation. So you got to get through Denver if you want to actually make it. You got to play the Ravens. It's got to be one of those things for him. And so I think Buffalo pulls through, but I think it'll be close.
Let's see Denver shock the world. 30-27 Broncos. I can't let my heart let me pick a Bills win. No.
This guy.
I actually do. I need to pick an upset. This is the upset I got going because I don't think any of the other games are gonna end in upsets. So this is my shock the world pick. Like I said, Bo Nix he shocked me all year because I was beginning of this season. I was like, I don't think Bo Nix is gonna be it. I saw them Auburn years. I saw that Oregon year, and Bo Nix was very hit or miss. Like when he was on, he was on, but when he was off, he was off. And I thought the speed of the NFL game was gonna be him being off more than it was gonna be him being on, and I was wrong. I'll admit that. So shout out to my guy Leo, the only Broncos fan I know. Yeah. Denver shocking the world today.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't blame anybody for picking Denver, man. Like I think on a given Sunday, I think Denver can play with just about everybody. He can play with anybody. I'm telling you, the way that they're built. Now I've seen some times when the defenses faltered and they end up giving up 20-something plus points, and I think they want to give up, but then they still make timely plays. It happens to even the best defenses, right? Thinking of probably happened today. But I believe the one thing that scares me about picking Denver, as much as I love Bo Nix, is the fact that if you go back this year, they were 8-0 against teams that were sub 500. They were 2-7 against teams that were at or above 500. Then you mix in the fact that if you want to mix in history, and I know all of history is not this particular set of players that are on the field. You got the Bills are 15-5 lifetime at home in the postseason. And then they're also 5-2 at home under Sean McDermott. They like playing at the crib, man. That's exactly where they are. So going to be a fun game. I hope we get all the fireworks that I think is going to happen. I hope there's even a threat of Denver being able to pull this off. I just don't want it to happen because I need that possible matchup next week of the MVP and the other guy that I say is the MVP. I need a bunch of stuff to happen. So that's why I'm gonna stick with the Bills in this one, 34-27. But I just hope that it's good, man. I just hope that it's good. One guess, any guys know who's the leading receiver for without looking it up? Who's the leading receiver for the Bills?
The crazy part is I looked this up like 5 minutes ago and I still forgot. So it's like that tells you how bad it was.
Leading receiver for what?
For the
It better not be Mac Hollins.
Nah.
For the Bills?
Yeah.
Kincaid.
No.
It was actually
Shakir?
a receiver, so that was the part I was
Who is
shocked
it,
about.
EJ?
I said Shakir.
It's Shakir.
Wow.
It's Shakir. Khalil Shakir has 821 yards, only 4 TDs on the season.
I had him in fantasy.
Yeah, yes, I and probably figured that Cortland Sutton is the leading receiver for the Broncos. But I will say the Bills better be careful because Mims been heating up. You got to watch Mims.
Yeah.
He's been heating up, so he can potentially be a problem. We got Don out there. Don got 31-30 for the Denver Broncos. He even sees a defensive TD coming through on that bad boy.
I could see it. That pass defense in Denver is no slouch.
Yeah, I think the Bills' strategy is going to be try to spread the Broncos out and let Josh Allen go to work. Because if you look at it, they like to get apply pressure up front, but the Broncos play a lot of man on that back end, right? So if you can spread these people out a little bit, I think that's going to be what the Bills are going to attempt to do to create some space for Josh Allen. All right, let's get to the next one. The next one, Source has been patiently waiting, even though he's trying to act like it's just another game in here. But we're going to talk about the Packers and the Eagles. It's actually a rematch because I had forgotten they played in Brazil earlier this year with the Eagles winning that matchup. But they back at it. It's a 1 week season now, 1 game season in this one. So, Joel, how you think this thing gonna go down?
All right, so well, I'm trying to keep my bias out of this decision making. I really like the Packers, honestly. I like their team a lot. I think they're also very young, but they have a lot of upstart. Watson's out, right? He's not coming back for the season.
Who, Watson?
Watson,
Yeah.
Yeah, he tore his ACL.
Right. Yeah, he's done. All right, so so that's one weapon down. But again, I like them a lot. But obviously, if you look at the Eagles on the other side, they seem like very like OP on every fucking line that you can look at least on paper. When healthy, they seem to be a very dominant team. I think the Packers could definitely give them a fight. I don't know if they have enough to overcome Saquon in the rush game. Yeah, that guy. I don't know him. He's a rookie. I never heard this guy. He's a good guy. He's had a good year. But that guy's been having a good time. AJ Brown, Smith, they somehow got dots in the beginning of the season. Like they just keep Goddard, and they have a very good offense, especially if Jalen Hurts doesn't have a concussion. And that defense is really good too. So like on paper, the Eagles are to me the favorites. I think they will end up pulling it out. But I would, in no way do I believe that the Packers should be slept on. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so begrudgingly.
Oh, it's on me. That's right. I lied earlier. I'm picking the Packers. I can't pick against the Packers here, right?
Your hometown, right?
I think this game is going to be really close. The Packers all year, their 5 losses, I think it's 5, have been against 2 against the Lions, 2 against the Vikings, and 1 against the Eagles. Every other team in the NFL, that they played, obviously, they've always looked like they could always get that one last play that they needed. Coincidentally, it always feels like when they play those three teams, the other team gets the one play that they don't get. At some point, that has to change. I'm going to pick today to be the day that changes. I think the Packers can weather the storm of Saquon Barkley. He had 3 touchdowns on them last time, and it was still a 1-score game. Keeping the 2 scores, and maybe that's the score that they need. Watson is a big loss for them, but he wasn't their leading receiver. He wasn't their leading big play receiver. He's a weapon, but he's not the weapon. So right. they can definitely mitigate the fact that he's not out there, because a lot of the year he hasn't been out there. The question that's going to be for them is, what is that secondary going to do? Because Xavier McKinney, he's out there, he's balling, but Jair is out for the year.
Rookie, he's a good guy too.
Jair, he's out for the year. I think they have another person that's missing in the secondary. So that's what's going to be the real question for me. And just to see, obviously they're coming off of a 2-game losing streak, one against the Bears, which it was week 18. I think they rested their starters at half. I'm not putting too much stock into it, but you do kind of want to understand what their mentality is, just coming off of a losing streak. You can either roll over and die, or you can be frustrated and say, we got to win this next one. And I'm going to believe that they're going to be frustrated and go, we got to win this next one more week.
Roll over and die is crazy, man.
I mean, we saw what the Steelers did.
True facts. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's on me, right, Prime? Of course it is. Man, we're going to destroy these people. I'm just playing. That would be nice. Green Bay tough. Green Bay should have won the first game, for real. But I'm going to be honest. Green Bay should have won the first game. I think the Eagles have gotten better, and I don't know that Green Bay's gotten better. As mentioned, 5 of their losses, 5 of the Packers' losses came from the best 3 records in the NFC. So there's that, but that also means that maybe they don't win against better teams. So I'll accept that as being what it is. A fresh off concussion protocol, Jalen Hurts is not my favorite Jalen Hurts. I'm not really looking forward to this guy being out there. We need him to be at full strength. But hopefully that means more opportunities for Saquon, just safety-wise, just to protect Hurts a little bit more, give him less chances to take. And we saw what Baltimore did yesterday. They came out there and did their 1-2 on the Steelers. So I'm looking forward to Philly doing the same thing today. I don't think Watson is a big deal, simply because all they do is throw Wicks out there more. Wicks and Doves. Watson cool, but ain't no difference. Love throw to everybody. He throw to all of them. So I don't think it's that big a deal for real. Nevertheless, I'm gonna get the Steelers. The Steelers. Why am I stuck on the Steelers? I hope it's not the Steelers. Russell Wilson. Maybe I'm concussed. 30-22. Philly. 30-22.
Well, it'll be interesting. I think this game comes out. We know that both teams are going to try to run the football. Saquon is Saquon. We've been talking about, your boy Jacobs for a minute. Numbers finished with 6 in the league in rushing. Crazy. I think 8 straight games with a touchdown, 15 TDs. They're going to attempt to run the football in this one. I think, not to sound cliche, because I always talk about Jordan Love and the untimely interception here and there, even though source noted he had been quite good of late. This is what we need to watch, because these are 2 of the best teams on points off of turnovers. If you go back this season, you have the Packers 117 points off of turnovers on the season. So they get at you, they make you pay. But shoot, the Eagles got like a 104. And they make you pay too. So who makes the least mistakes in this one? So I know the popular pick is the Philadelphia Eagles, though they looking like an unstoppable monster. But I remember, even though it was against my Cowboys, I remember how Jordan Love and them looked He came out slinging that thing. So I don't know if being in Philly gonna scare him. I mean, he went down to Texas and beat the brakes off them people. So I think he can get out here and get it done. I'm gonna take the Packers 31-30.
Last year, even against the Niners, he didn't look terrible. He threw some untimely interceptions at the wrong moment, but they were in that game. Obviously, I think they were up at one point.
Yeah,
they were up
they
a good chunk of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
what was your score, dude?
I didn't say one earlier. 27-21.
Man, they just showed the Broncos.
Joel said you said Green Bay.
I said.
I was hoping you said Green Bay.
The Don Mega got 23-19 for your Eagles.
Word.
Beagles.
Quick note from I got Cliff Jones in the house. He said, "Just pick the Beagles, man." He was talking to you. So when he was giving,
what else I'm gonna do?
just pick the Beagles, man.
Me and Kelsey beefing. She went to church with all Green Bay gear on. So.
Oh boy! Oh yeah. I forgot about how it's gonna be in that household.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be thinking about y'all, bro. Forgot about that. Next up, we have another great game, great matchup. The Commanders and the Bucs are set to go at it later on this evening, and this ought to be a good one too. We got Jaden Daniel taking on Source's guy, Baker Mayfield. Source, come back, Adam. How is this game gonna go?
You see what Baker Mayfield came out doing when I gave him a compliment last week?
Yeah.
I was like, what is this foolishness? I ain't doing this no more. Man, I've liked Tampa Bay even when they beat us. I like Tampa Bay squad, man. Definitely Bucky Irvin. I'm glad that he is if he eventually became the guy, to get the rock on a regular basis, because it was going back and forth between him and White. And then Tucker gets his touches in the red zone or whatever the case may be, short yardage. But Bucky Irvin is that dude. He be getting busy. Add, the great Mike Evans to that, and it could be a problem. Washington, young and new to the playoffs. Not new, but not as recent have they been in the playoffs very often. Not their coaching staff, but definitely their QB. First time out there, I don't think the bright lights are going to bother him at all. Whatever he's going to do is what he's going to do. I don't think it has anything to do with the pressure of the situation. I hope and pray that Baker Mayfield is the Baker Mayfield I know and despise. Turnover, yes, I want Washington. I want Washington to win. I do. I want Washington to get the W. I want Washington to win this game. If only so my wife would be in a good mood for the week. I don't know. It'll help. So, but yeah, I think that combination that we didn't see last week, Daniels to McLaurin, is going to be a problem today. And that Tampa Bay pass defense isn't the greatest in the world.
Yeah, I get Winfield back today, though, I think.
Well, send him out there. Send him on out there. See what happens. Yeah, McLaurin, 8 for 101, 8 catches, 101. Washington gets out of Tampa Bay with the win. I think I'm shooting too high with 35-32. Let me scroll back. 25-22, Washington.
Dude.
I'm so glad Juwan's not here for this. I'm so glad, because I don't want to hear him talk about Baker, and I especially don't want to hear me pick Tampa Bay.
Oh gosh.
I don't want to hear any of that. I honestly don't know which way this game is going to go. So Tampa being at home, I'm just going to give them the home field advantage benefit. 21-18 Tampa.
Ooh.
I like it. Joel, what you think? Who will win?
I think I'm riding that wave as well. I like Washington, and I think Jaden is that guy. Something about Tampa Bay, man. In honor of Juwan, the bigger boys in the house. I gotta go.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Buccaneers over Washington. I have no idea the score, but probably closer than it should be.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Main thing to watch is I'm surprised nobody thought about it. Marshall Lattimore was supposed to play today, and you know him. And
is he?
Do not like each other.
They fight.
Get him kicked out the game. That's perfect.
Remember the last time they played? Remember in the Saints game, they both got ejected.
Yeah.
And your boy Mike Evans got suspended again.
Oh.
So ain't no love lost there. So now
I didn't know that.
Washington want to deploy him the same way the Saints did because he locks Mike Evans down. Last 13 times they played each other, Mike Evans is only averaging 43 yards a game and no touchdowns when he's being covered by Lattimore. So I'm telling you, it's something to watch, man. And today is going to be the fourth time since the wild card was put into place in 1978 that two teams have met that both averaged 28 points or more in the regular season. So that's going to influence my score a little bit. I'm still taking Baker to go crazy, 30-28 over Washington. And I'm just going to need to know when this game is over. If y'all take the L, will y'all the Commanders today or the Redskins? I just need to know.
Ooh.
The Don Mega got 28-24 for Baker and the boys.
Baker and the boys.
Mm-hmm.
The Baker boys, huh?
Last game here, so we can get everybody up. I know some of y'all watching the game anyway. The Vikings are taking on the Rams. That's going to go down on Monday night. Another good game. I love the matchup. I love the two strategists here going at it in this one. I'm seeing a lot of people taking the Rams and just on cue, touchdown, Bo Nix to Franklin. Y'all don't believe it, that boy good. But anyway, about this particular game, I've seen a lot of movement with the Rams. People are feeling really good about the Rams. And I don't know if it's just the fact of they like McVay or they're just going off of last week when the Vikings defense on the offensive side, they wanted to show up. So I don't know. Diz, what you think about this one?
I'm shocked that you said that people are picking the Rams. First off, shout out to the people in LA. Prayers and thoughts for the fires that are going on out there. That is insane. The fact that they had to even move the game for it is that's heartbreaking.
In Arizona now, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, they're playing in Phoenix. I'm really shocked that people are picking the Rams on this. The Vikings have their record for a reason. Like I was one of the people who thought it was a fluke for a lot of the season, and then you don't get to 14 games on a fluke. Like they are good, and I don't think that the Rams have the offensive weapons to overcome that defense in Minnesota. I think that's the number one pass defense in the league. It might be, I'm sure it's top 5 overall, but it's Minnesota. Like as low as I am to give Sam Darnold props, he balling.
Hey there, man.
He's definitely getting paid.
What's your
score? Score is tougher because I'm gonna go 31-17.
Indeed.
Damn.
I like it.
Just realize how big a difference.
2 scores on the road. Yeah.
I don't think that I think Minnesota's defense can stop LA's offense. I don't know if LA's defense can stop Minnesota's offense.
And they're not actually on the road. That's right.
Right. And let's be honest, LA also ain't really, even when they're at home, they ain't really got a home field advantage. So
yeah,
that's fair.
Rams over the Chargers. Well, I guess you're right.
Neither LA team has a real home field advantage. Like when watch those games, it'd be like half the other team's fans.
That's true.
Yeah,
That is true. I've noticed in a few kids. That's true.
That's because LA lost their team for like a certain amount of years. They were
That
team
and
ups.
LA
It's also because LA is full of transplants.
Yep.
That's
everybody
also
coming from
true,
different
yes.
places.
Great.
A lot of transplants. Florida like that too, but they come out for their football teams at least.
There's
Yeah,
so much to do in LA, though. I feel like.
Yeah.
They don't care unless they're good. That's all that matters.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Didge, who won in the day? I mean, I'm Didge. Joel, who won in the day?
Try not to take in the recency bias.
Come on, Daniel Jones. Stop playing.
Hey man.
I forgot your boy is there.
Playing though, so why it don't
He
matter.
on the field. He on the sideline.
Unless they want to throw a wildcat, they could probably run some weird shit with him.
I thought he's even suiting up.
He's gonna trip when he gets to the end zone, though.
Hey, as long as he gets to the end zone. Damn, it's tough.
Daniel Jones.
I think he's right though. I'll probably sign him with the Vikings. I've been impressed with what I've seen out of Matthew Stafford most of this season. The resurrection, because we're seeing ghosts for so long. I'm glad he snapped out of that. So, like what Dave was saying, like I can probably trust what I'm seeing from the Vikings more so than the Rams. Not that the Rams can't do it. I do like the Rams. I like the team, but I don't like them as much as I like the Vikings. And so I'll probably say leaning Vikings over Rams. Probably closer than fucking what they had, but maybe by a touchdown. But I'll brought Vikings over Rams.
Yeah, Rams won
because Daniel Jones on sideline. Wow.
Yeah, I do remember the Rams. The Rams did beat them back in Week 8, right? Yeah. So remember that was a game. That was a game.
Beat a team twice.
Daniel Jones on the sideline then.
The Rams waited to the last minute to activate Puka Nacua.
Yeah, that was
they turned it by the last minute, and then it was obvious what they wanted to do. They wanted to establish him. Like on the first drive, he got in there, they targeted him like 3 times.
Yeah, I think it was
more than that. Over 100 yards receiving. So that's going to be part of the same strategy today. Source, what you think?
I'm surprised by how many people have picked the Rams as well, because I thought I was on. Not I, but I thought that we had talked about the Rams and how good their offense is, especially when they are cohesive and playing together, and everybody's healthy as well. The Rams are a problem when everybody's good. And I said probably midway through the season, don't let the Rams get in the playoffs. Don't let the Rams get in the playoffs. But since then, we've seen their offense disappear on multiple occasions, which I just don't understand. I don't understand it at all. For that reason alone, I'm just going with Minnesota, not because I think of Sam Darnold as an MVP candidate, even though he is theoretically. He has no chance, obviously, but theoretically, just if you name 10 people, you got to say Sam Darnold in there based on his squad. I'm going 30-24 Minnesota.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting game because I think the Rams could do it. I just don't know which Rams team is going to show up. We're going to get the Rams team that hung, 44 on the Bills? Or we're going to get the Rams team that hung 12 and 13 on the 49ers and Cardinals.
Exactly.
I just don't know what I'm going to get out of it. So, and what happened last week won't deter me. Things going to happen. Things go down. They were playing the Lions. But the Vikings going to win this game. I'm going to take the Vikings 27-20 in this game to win it.
Come on, Cuzzo, sweep. We're going for the sweep.
And Don, just waiting on you, bro. We got a few minutes. Let's see what Don comes at us in a minute. Come with us. We give him a couple of minutes here before we sign off. Very, very, very good list of games, man. And like I say, anybody watching now, Denver's up 7-0. Deep shot.
Buffalo driving though.
Walking right down the field. So this is what I want from this game. I need this game right here. I need people walking up down the field. I need points in this. I want a thriller. I want both quarterbacks to throw over, for over 300. Well, Bo Nix throw for over 3. And then the other boy, Josh Allen's get a ton of offense. I don't care if it's arm, leg, whatever, a bunch of stats. That's what I need. But I'll be honest with you, if there's one quarterback that I can honestly the more and more I think about it, that Bo Nix reminds me of is Josh Allen.
Okay.
Yeah, he watch him when he gets out of the pocket. He just has to learn whether or not, make a few better decisions, whether or not to take off and run with it or buy a little extra time. But he reminds me a lot of Josh Allen. So I ain't seen nothing from Don, man. So what we gonna do? I don't know if he might have checked out or whatever.
He might be watching the game.
I'm watching it right here.
Yeah, I know. I got it up on my other monitor.
Yeah.
So how we gonna do? We're gonna find out. We'll be back next week to adjust the next matchups. Hopefully, get some of the matchups that we want. And as always, I appreciate you guys coming through. Joel, you got anything you want to put out there? Plug for the people? Anything?
I mean, you can just find me at Joel_J27 on Instagram, Twitter. Pretty sure other places, but those are the only two places I can't think of. We do our show, Unhealthy, our show. Wednesdays usually. We're actually going to do about an NBA preseason review show soon.
Mid-season.
Mid-season. What did I say? Preseason?
You said preseason.
My last show was
I mean,
preseason.
the NBA
so
doesn't
now
get
we're
started
finally.
until
Yeah. Mid-season review, all-star selection show we're going to do hopefully Thursday. My plan is for Thursday. So we're gonna talk some basketball. I can't wait to do that. That's about it.
All right. Look forward to Didge.
You can find me at DidgeD pretty much all on social media. Do the podcast Geek Set Podcast every other Sunday. So no podcast today, but check out our past episodes on YouTube. It's a live show, so you can see us there and on Twitch and stuff. Just come check out. We talk hip hop, video games, all geek stuff. It's it's a good time.
Nice, sure. Nice. So, what you got cooking for?
Man, I don't know if I mentioned it last week. I was off the latter part of this week, and we've been live. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and this morning for a good amount of time. It's been a lot, but we got the show tomorrow. Source and Company live 6:00 p.m. Eastern tomorrow on TikTok. Then Wednesday we got Source and Company again at 6:00. Then at 7:00 on Wednesday we have the Beat Cypher 5. 4 was crazy. That was last week. All the producers, six of the 8 producers that were on used the same sample, created beat. None of them joints sounded similar. All of them were fire. I gave them Donny Hathaway's Giving Up. This week made it a little more difficult. Gave them New Shoes. I Can't Wait, because I need somebody to flip that joint. So we're gonna see if we can come up with that. And hopefully TikTok won't go away the next week, so we can keep going after that.
I'm gonna have to definitely tune in for that, because I love a good sample.
Word.
Fire. And those joints are fire. If y'all ain't checked it, y'all need to check it. Those joints are fire. And I don't have nothing to put out just yet. I got a couple things I am working on that will be over on the YouTube channel. I have changed the channel back to, it is just the SBP. I explain later. So it's not SBP TV anymore. So it's just the SBP Direct Link. I got some things that I'm working on to probably come to fruition within the next 2 weeks. But other than that, I'm not doing anything. We're watching football and women's basketball. I'm waiting for Unravel to tip off. And notice for anybody that's in here, if you're looking, I know it's football Sunday, but if you got the extra iPad up like I do, there is a top 5 matchup going on right now between South Carolina and Texas. So you want to see some good women's basketball, pull it on up as well. So as we watch Bo Nix and Josh Allen go up and down the field. So, but I
can't wait for Unravel though. The rollout for Unravel and all the publicity stuff, the media stuff is crazy.
It's been fire.
Yes, it has.
WNBA better take some notes, something.
Write it down, record it. I don't care. Do something.
Take a picture.
And we appreciate everybody checking us out. We catch y'all on the next one. SBP, y'all, we out.